Good morning, everyone. So, in previous class, we have seen high-level programming language, and also we have seen the overview of what is robustness, what is robust language. Okay. So we'll go for two things: what is exception and what is exception handling. That only makes what Python as a robust language. Okay. What is exception? Every runtime error is known as exception. Okay. So any runtime, any error, okay, that occurs during program execution, program or runtime, you say during runtime is called as exception. Okay, and it typically gives technical error messages. Okay, it gives what? Technical error messages. So I'll show you this particular example as well. What is exception and how why we are calling it as runtime error, and how it gives the technical error message. Okay, and second thing, exception handling. It's the process of converting technical error messages to user understandable error messages. Okay, you just write technical error message. Okay, technical error message to user understandable error message. Understood? This makes our python project python project and robust. Okay, robust, and I would say especially in the real time application where smooth user experience is crucial. Okay, experience is crucial. Clear it is? Okay. So I would say in real world projects we encounter three uh, three types of errors. First is syntax error, or we can say compile time error. Compile time error. Okay, we also call it as it occurs due to syntax. Okay, it occurs due to syntax. And second is logical error, related to wrong logic, related to wrong or incorrect, you can say incorrect logics. And the third one, we call it as runtime errors. Okay, it occurs due to, or you say it occurs at the program execution, something like this you can say. Okay, during execution or at program execution, this runtime occurs. Clear it is? A simple way of simple explanation of exception handling, let me tell you with a simple example. Now what is exception handling? Did I show you yesterday any example? No. Zero division error already I have shown you where it is in Jupyter, right? That is the only example I would say for now, because if I give you more example you will get confused. Okay, for a beginner that would be one of the good examples. So I'll go for Jupyter, and one more time I'll show you that. Yeah, this one, right? So here in this particular case I have taken two blocks, that is one is try block, one is except block. Okay, this particular try block is going to handle the exception, it is going to take the particular block which might generate exception. Exception is what? Runtime error. Okay, why I'm saying this as runtime error, you check it. If I say something like, let's call it as, let's say something like a is equals to integer of input of enter the first number. Okay, I'll give one more example here, and this I will say b is equals to enter the second number, right? And I will give a c is equals to a divisible by b, and I will print c. Now you tell me it is asking for input. Okay, what is this? No need to understand now, I will explain you later on. Okay, now enter the first value it is asking. That means I am running my application, and here it is asking for the input. So if I say, let's say 10, second it is asking because of I'm giving two inputs here. Now it is asking, I'll be giving 0, which is gonna give us error, exception. What exception? Zero division error. This type of thing it is known as user input. What we call it as user input. Why? Because this what makes the input takes from the user. Basically, it takes the input from the user. A simple example I'll give you. ATM. When you put the card in the ATM, it provides a specific input block, you can say, or the screen, you can say. Enter the pin or enter the amount, whatever you want to do. So there is a specific field it allows, right, where you can give your own input. That is the same what you have here. You are basically taking an input from the user. Okay, and who is entering this kind of thing? User is entering. That means at the time of running the application, the user is going to make some mistake, and this, as a programmer, we have to anticipate these things. We need to handle these things. So to do so, we will use the concept of what? Exception handling. So to do so, I will go for where my exception is occurring, which line number? Line number 6. So I will just keep the line number 6 inside of the try block, and keep this, and then I will handle the exception, except of 0 division error, and just go for it. Print that please use non-zero value and integer value as denominator, something like this. Okay, so if I go for it now, 10 and 0, we will get please use non-zero value. And this is quite a message which is, it is a message which is quite user understandable. Okay, previously we were getting division by 0. Yes, we were getting division by 0. That was kind of a technical error message. Now we are getting what? User understandable message. That means anyone can read it and easily able to understand it, right? One more thing, that whenever we are writing a try block, this try block only will take the exception. Take the exception, that means this particular line number 6, this one, we were getting here itself, right? Here itself we were getting the exception. What it was saying? Zero division error in line number 6. So wherever the exception is occurring, that exception line will be taken by whom? Try block. Understood? Clear it is? So try block is handling the exception. Except block will try block will just hold the exception, and this except block will handle that particular exception. This except block will generate the user understandable message. That is why with the help of this exception handling, we are making our application robust, strong. Did you understand? So these three things we have: compile time error due to syntax, logical error because of wrong in logic, and runtime at the program of at the execution of the program. Did you understand up to now? Clear it is for everyone online? Okay. Next is the eighth one. Okay, eighth one we have both procedural and object oriented programming language. It is both procedural and object oriented. Procedural and object oriented are two different concepts. We call it as functional and object oriented. Okay, but I'm not going to explain you now, because if I explain you here itself, you will get confused. What is happening, you will get confused totally. Okay, so procedural also we call it as functional oriented. Later on we will be seeing all these things, and object oriented also we will be seeing all these things, whatever we have inside of both of this concept. Okay, so this is, I'm just skipping this particular part. Once we go through the procedural and object oriented, then you can mention here what is procedural and what is object oriented. Understood? Okay, for now you just try to understand. Procedural is nothing but functional oriented, and functional oriented says it works with function. Function is nothing but, function is a subprogram of the main program. For now you just remember this. And object oriented works with classes and objects. Most major two things we have: classes and object. So what is class, what is object, later on I will tell you. Function is what? It is a subprogram of the main program, but you don't have to understand all these things now. I will tell you everything after the completion of the previous topics. Okay, first we complete the basic topic, then we'll move to function, and then we'll move to object oriented. Got it? So not now. Let's go for the ninth one. We call it as extensible. Two different things we have, extensible and embedded. Both are quite similar. Okay, both are a little bit similar, I would say. It offers its programming feature, programming features to other languages. Okay, making it one of the extensible programming language. Okay, and second thing I will say, that is embedded is nothing but Python can speed things up by calling. I'll explain you what this is. Okay, just give me a minute. By calling code from other languages. Okay, for instance I would say, let's say Python can call the code of C programming. Okay, C programming language for faster execution. Okay, for faster execution. These two things you just remember. Sorry, this second is what? Embedded. I think embedded spelling is this. Whatever. Sorry, spelling I am writing wrong. Embedded. Okay, right. Now what this is, extensible means extending its features. Okay, extending, a general English word, extending. Extending means extending its feature or enlarging, you can say, right? Okay, so when we talk about this particular feature, this is nothing but it offers its programming feature. Python language has so many features, right? All the features it also offers to other programming languages as well. Understood? Other programming languages, it that makes one of the extensible programming language. And what is embedded? Python can speed up things by calling code from other languages. I'll give you a simple example for this. YouTube, mostly 40% of YouTube execution happens in C programming, because C has a particular pointer, concept of pointer it has, and pointer is quite fast. That means C programming for execution, it is quite faster. Understood? C programming is bit faster than other programming language when it compares to execution. And when we talk about Python has so many features, different facilities it has, right? That makes one of the language which can be used with other programming language. So that, first of all, see YouTube. Example, you take YouTube. YouTube is bit faster. Buffering time is also gone, isn't it? Now, previously we were seeing so many buffering time, right? Now it is bit faster. Why? Because C is there. C programming has a pointer concept. Pointer itself is bit faster. Okay, in execution C is faster, but in features Python is quite having a good feature. Okay, so many features it has. So combination of it makes a program more effective and efficient. Understood? Clear it is? Okay, so this is two things, extensible and embedded. And the last one, that is the 11th one, it supports third party API. It supports third party API. Now what is API? Something like have you heard about NumPy, Pandas, Matplotlib? Have you heard about these things? So these are our third party API, which is not present in our Python software, but we can use it in our Python software. Okay, how we can use it? By importing those things or by installing those third party modules in our Python software. Later on I'll tell you, when it comes to module concept, I'll tell you how to do all these things with third party API. Okay, so you write to boost the efficiency of traditional Python projects, we rely on the third party tools like NumPy, Pandas, okay, Matplotlib, Seaborn, and so many things we have. Okay, understood? Okay, and many more we have. To use uh, these tools, we simply install them using a tool called pip. Okay, it is basically a Python package installer. Pip is nothing but a Python package installer. It is. Okay, understood? Clear it is? So third party API, that is, we can call it as different modules we have, that does not belongs to the Python software itself, but yes, we can make use of those things by importing it. Okay, by importing it from the outside resources. Understood? For example, let me show you. There is a module called Pandas. Pandas is not from our Python software. Okay, Pandas does not belongs to. Once you install it, you won't get the Pandas module. You won't get the Matplotlib module. You won't get the SciPy module. You won't get the scikit-learn. Right? All those things you have to download it from other resources. Okay, so other resources, that means I can directly also I can go for it. Okay, how to do this? Let's go for, let me give you a simple example of this, right? So you go for it. Pip, once you install the Python, then only you can do it, this, right? Because this is pip is a command for Python package installer, right? Pip install, I would say any kind of I would say NumPy. As I already have in my system NumPy, it is going to say it is required, satisfied, already satisfied. So this pip install NumPy, this NumPy is one of the module name. Similarly, you can use pip install Pandas. Pandas is what? Module name. Similarly, you can go for Matplotlib, something like this. And when you go for it, you check it, it is going to take some time, and then it is going to say, see, Matplotlib, we are downloading the Matplotlib here. Check it. This is how it is getting downloaded. Once it get done, it will come out of the session. Still it is running. Okay, completed. Done. Okay, this is how you have to download the third party API, but not now. I will tell you when to. Okay, I will tell you when to do these things, not now. So here we have completed our features. So how many features we have seen? 11 features we have seen. Simple and easy, freeware and open source, platform independent, dynamically typed language, interpreted programming language, high level programming, robust, and all these things, like it is robust, both OOPS and procedural oriented, as well as it is embedded and extensible, and supports third party API. I have taken it as two different. You can take in one as well. Okay, in one, because both are quite similar. Understood? Do you have any kind of question now? Yes, online everyone. Do you have any question? No? Okay. So let's move to the next concept of data representation in Python. Data representation in Python. Okay. See, the data representation is nothing but how to represent the data, specific data in Python. Okay. What are the different step to represent the data? Different step could be directly also you can show, right? For example, if I go for Python, here itself I will write. If I go for it, let's say something like a is equals to 10. I can write like this also. I can write directly 10 also. I can write directly 10 also. But here we are not using the value properly. Using value properly means, again, if I want this 10, what should I do? Again, I need to write it separately. That means for this, we need some memory space. We need some container to contain this 10 value somewhere. Understood? So for that, we'll see what is data representation, and we'll see some parts of it. Okay. So the data representation in Python is nothing but storing the data in the main memory. Clear? Okay. To store the data in Python, we need first literals, or we can also call it as values. Second, variables or identifiers. And the third one is, we call it as data types, the most important. And this itself, it is going to take 12 to 15 days to cover this. Understood? So many data types we are going to see. Total, we have 14 data types. All these 14 data types we are going to see one by one. Okay. So first of all, we'll cover the literals or values. Now, what is literal? Value everyone knows. 10 is a value, 20 is a value, Python is a value, true is a value. Okay. These are what? Values. So literals are the values. You can call literal value whatever you want to say. Okay. Entered by the programmer, or I would say, or the end user, and users, or the application user, or the application users. Okay. To the real-time application, to the real-time applications. Okay. They are classified into, I would say here, first I will give as integer literal. What is integer literal? If I go for something like a is equals to 10, this is an integer literal, right? So 10 is nothing but a value. But what type of value it is? Integer. That's why this 10 is an integer literal. Understood? Similarly, what are the example I can say? Example, your let's say student number, phone number, okay, Aadhaar number. Moreover, we can say EMP number, employee number, and so many things you can consider here. Okay, and second, float literal. What is float literal? Example could be percentage, height, weight, more. What else you can? Marks, percentage, height, weight. Okay, just this you take the spelling. If I make any mistake, you just keep take care of this, right? Okay, percentage, height, weight, and so many things we have. I to waste time here. Understood? Clear it is. Similarly, we have string literal as well. I'm just giving an example of it. Okay, we have so many literals. String literals I can take something like example. Example could be name, gender, okay, place. More what we can say, designation, okay, something like this you can consider. And more we have, you can say something like boolean literal, boolean literal, like it consists of only two things, true and false. And likewise we have so many, okay, so many boolean literals we have. So I hope you understood what is literal here. Is it clear? Okay, let's move to the next one, that is variables. So let me give you example as well. You say b is equals to something like 10.2. What it is? Float literal. If I say c is equals to, let's say something like Python, string literal. Okay, d is equals to true, boolean literal. E is equals to something like 2 plus 3j, complex literal. Okay, similarly I'll say f is equals to something like 1 2 3 4 5. What type of literal? List it is. Okay, likewise you can consider so many examples. Okay, so just you take this, I'll just give here examples. Clear? Variables and identifiers. Okay, now once the application user enters the data from the keyboard to program, it is the responsibility of the programmer to store the data in the form of, or I would say store the data in variables or identifiers. Okay, hence all literals or values, or I would say data, must be stored in main memory. Okay, in the form of identifiers or variables. Okay, otherwise we can't process the data. Okay, clear it is. Now in this particular case, a is my variable, b is my variable, c is my variable, d, e, f, all these are my variables. 10 is my literals. 10.2 Python true 2 plus 3j, these are my literals. So whatever we write left hand side, we call it as variables. This is known as equal assignment operator, and right hand side we call it as values or literals. Understood? Quite easy to understand. Okay. Mm, yeah. Now why we are calling it as variable? Because the value may vary. The value for this particular variable may vary, or identifier. Okay, for this identifier the value may vary. Here in this particular case it is 10. Next time I can take same a is equals to Python as well. So that means by the time I have changed the value, initially I have taken a is equals to 10, suddenly I have changed the a value as, that means value is varying in the sense, that's why it is known as variable. Keep changing its state. Okay, and second thing is identifier. With the help of this particular a value, I can identify that this is a 10 value, or we can say this is a literal of integer. Understood? That's why we call it as an identifier. When you take name is equals to, let's say, Vinod. Okay, name is equals to Vinod. Name is specifying what? The meaning of the particular field, isn't it? Same thing, this is an identifier, you can say. That's why we call it as variable and identifier. Clear it is? We'll go for it. Definition of variables. A variable is an identifier, okay, whose value are changing or varying during the program execution. Is it clear? Okay. Next, we will also see rules of defining variables. Okay. The first rule number 1, variable names in Python can contain a combination of alphabets, digits, and the underscore. So only one special character you can take, that is what? Underscore here. That's it. Understood? This is the symbol for underscore. So you just take a space here. Clear it is? Okay, first. Second, the name must start with either alphabets or underscore. Clear? Okay, and the third one, I would say, or let me give you an example with this. Let's say I'm writing name. Name is equals to, I'll say something like Pratik. That means here it is perfect, starting with the letter. If I say underscore name, is it possible? Possible? Possible, not possible? Possible. Just now I have told you. Either it could start from the alphabet or the underscore. So I'm starting with underscore. But what if I say 1 to 1, and this I'll say something like this. Name is equals to Ajay. Okay. Immediately where we are getting the error? Okay. So this I would say, I would call it as wrong syntax. Similarly, if I go for double underscore and then let's say name, tell me, is it possible? Possible, because it is getting started with one underscore, right? And I'll go for something like Ajay. Moreover, you can use any number here, 1, 2, 3. Salary is equals to 1, 2, 3, something like this. That is also executable. If I take something like salary, here I will write salary underscore. Possible, not possible? Possible. It is possible. Check it. Execute it. Similarly, I'll go for something like, again you take this. Instead of this, I'll say dollar. Is it possible? Not possible? Not possible. Check it. Not possible. We are getting syntax error. Okay. So you just write it something like this. Clear. So I'll just keep all this. Yes. Understood? Clear it is? So how many? Two. Three. Third one says the special symbols other than special symbols other than underscore are not allowed within the variable name or names, you can say. Clear it is? Okay, that is not at all allowed. If I go for examples, I'll say something like, here itself you can take this particular example which is not allowed, right? Similarly, if I want salary and 23 is equals to something like this, what we will get? Again we will get the syntax error. Similarly, I'll go for salary underscore 123 and suddenly I'll write percent is equals to 80. Okay, why? Because see, all these things right? All these things, all these particular symbols are having its meaning, different meaning, right? So dollar, there is no meaning, and is there for an operator. Similarly, percent is there, modulo, right? Modulo, it provides. So everything has its purpose, right? So we can't go for any operator keywords like that. We can't use it as our variable here. Understood? Clear it is? Fourth one, keywords. Keywords cannot be used as variable names, okay, as they have spatial meaning. Okay, they have a special meaning, and I would say and keywords are considered as a reserved word. Okay, they are what? A reserved word, because they have a separate meaning. For each keyword they have the separate meaning of it. For example, if is a condition, okay, else is a condition, for is a loop, while, okay, def is used for functions. So all these different keywords we can't use in our as a variable. Check it. Let's say if age, if is equals to 100. Okay, if I execute this, immediately we are getting error. Similarly, if you go for else is equals to 100, 1000. Okay, you can see again we are getting one error. Understood? Similarly, I'll go for while is equals to 200. Here also we are getting the output. Similarly, I'll go for def is equals to 200. Check it. Every time we are getting an error here. Understood? So this you just take care of it. Examples. Clear? Okay. And there is a recommendation. I'm not writing that actually. There is a recommendation that do not use a longer name as a variable name. Okay. For example, let's say you are taking an input from the user, salary. So will you write something like salary of the employee, something like this. Again, when you want to use this particular variable name, you have to go for what? Writing it one more time. That means, don't you think it is going to take more time to write it? So instead of that, what I will write? Salary, emp underscore salary, something like this, and you just provide this. Understood? And the second thing, that you can't use space. Okay, like something like this, emp salary is equals to 200. What we are getting? Syntax error, because this space is also one of the special character. Understood? Clear it is? So these two things you need to understand here. This I would say not possible. Clear? Is it okay for everyone? Okay. So from tomorrow onwards, I'm going to start this data types. Today we have seen what is literals, what is values, what is variables, what is identifier, as well as also we have seen features. All the remaining features also we have completed. And so far just we have started the Python programming language. Okay, we haven't written a single code, and you also do not have to write it. Okay, until I say. Once I say that you need to write it now, and once I give uh, once I start giving you assignment for you, then only you start writing the codes. Okay, until then just keep your hand in a steady position, Do not move it for a like couple of weeks. I wouldn't say couple of weeks, 1 week. Not Sankranti. Okay, fine. So, shall we stop it here? So tomorrow I'll be starting data types, which is the most important concept here, because it is only the base of the Python. Without data, knowing the database, you can't go for the further, I would say, topics, okay, concepts. So just follow the recordings, follow the notes, and you will get everything. Fine. Shall we stop it here? Okay. Thank you so much, guys. So see you tomorrow. Have a great day and keep reading the notes. Okay. Keep reading the notes. Every day I'll be asking some questions. Okay. Today I didn't ask, but from tomorrow onwards I'll start asking the questions as well. Okay. Fine. Thank you so much. Do you have any question online, guys? If you have any question, I'll be on class. You can ask me the question, right? Thank you. Have a great day.